Okay, so let's talk about your tangible personal property. So, what we mean by that is a kind of a long, fancy phrase, but what we mean by that is literally what's in your home. What can you touch? Whether it's something really valuable like jewelry and artwork and vehicles, or things like that are just mementos or, pictures in nice picture frames that you like, or things like that around your home that have perhaps an emotional value to your family and loved ones, but don't have a value, say, if you were to go and, try to sell it somewhere. Still, at the end of the day, all of this tangible personal property is really meaningful to you. And so you want to be really intentional about how you leave it behind. So there's two ways that you do that. The first way is called a personal property memorandum, and I'll have Pam touch on what exactly that is.
So the personal property memorandum, you can go throughout the rest of your life and actually say, hey, this pair of earrings I'm going to give to my daughter, this baseball bat to my son. And you can update it throughout the rest of your life. You just want to make sure you keep it in the documentation.
So, what's really cool about the memorandum is it can be in your own handwriting because we know that there are so many different things over time where you'll say, well, I really want this to go to this person, but you don't want to necessarily have to go through and redo your entire estate plan to say, I want my wedding ring to go to so and so, or I want, this particular picture album to go to a grandchild of yours. That would be a lot of work just for one little, phrase or gift right there. And so, what you can do is put it in your own handwriting. So, this is provided to you as part of your estate plan that you create in the Legacy app is the ability to print this out and write it in your own handwriting. Now, what makes it legal is that you sign it and date it, which, of course, the sheet of paper that is the memorandum will let you know that so that you're doing it exactly correctly. But it's a really easy, accessible way to add gifts of tangible items over time. But of course, we can't fully write out every single tangible item we have, right, onto a personal property memorandum. That would be crazy if you think about everything in your home and that kind of thing. So there's a catch all provision. That's what this tangible personal property selection is about for everything that's not in the memorandum that is tangible. So again, we're not talking about stuff that's at a bank or real estate or your cryptocurrency or your life insurance. We're talking about, again, the stuff you can physically touch. Everything not on the memorandum, who does that go to? Typically, if you're married, you leave it to your spouse or partner. And then you say, if they're not living, you leave it to whoever you'd like. You can, of course, just say your living children only. You can say living children and grandchildren if you want. Just be cognizant of the fact that if you leave it to a group of people, they're going to have to decide amongst themselves. And that's normally not a big deal for most families. If it is for you, of course, then on your memorandum, that's where you want to actually make sure you use it so that the right person that you'd want to receive something does receive it. So that's how you counter that if that is a concern in your family. But otherwise, you want to make sure that you clarify who does everything else, again, that's tangible, go to. And that's what you get to select on this screen right here.
I will say, just to add to that, this is one of those sneaky places where a lot of conflict comes out. This is one of those sneaky places where a lot of conflict comes down the road, and it's for things you wouldn't expect because this step wasn't taken. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is to take the time for the most valuable, the things that are the most sentimental for your loved ones to put this down. And I will say it will reduce conflict if you start having conversations with those family members now about those. So if you have young kids, obviously it's not going to be an issue right this moment, but if your kids are adults and you have grandchildren, you want to start having those conversations now because we've just seen down the road how a lot of times it will break apart families because they're not having these conversations. So take the time to do this now.